Thanks, Kev. Thanks, Kev, for making me feel like I'm still funny.
It's all good, and I'm getting ready for the last Protoss series of the day, at least, as once more it's going to be a PvZ between Violet and Zootop. We always call him Zootop, it's just Top, representing Zenith of Origin. After this we have a TVT, and after that we're going to close out the day with a TVZ series, so, you know, it doesn't matter what race you play, in the next 3 series, Ben, you'll be a happy fellow either way.
That's right. Hopping in the game, spawning in the top half of Polar Knight, the red Protoss player. My tongue is getting fat from all this talking. He is Zootop.
It's not the only thing that's gonna
It's so true, man. It's so true, and I'm very sensitive about it right now.
It's really funny that you wear the same shirts as you used to wear when you were like 25 pounds lighter. It's like, man, this shirt, no.
I know, man. I've noticed the same thing.
This shirt like barely fit when you were fit.
Bottom half of the map, the blue Zerg player. His name is Violet. Oh, man. I'm so self-conscious. Can't wear my t-shirts anymore.
Then again, I'm not one to talk.
No, man. You're right. I've been getting a little chunky. Chunky monkey. Makes me sad because I was in pretty good shape at one point last year.
And then you said YOLO.
And then I said, you know what, working out is just not fun. It hurts every time.
And then Mr. Bitter got into a ritual where after a long day at the office, he came home, he opened the fridge, started eating ice cream, and grabbed himself a beer. And well, man, the results are...
It was a good life.
And the results are visual.
It was a good life, man.
Either way, we see that Violet will most likely open up with a hatch first over here, Ben on Polar Knight. So Violet not afraid to take a small risk.
But doing a lot of scouting before planning this early hatchery. He checked for proxies in his main base. He checked for proxies over here outside the third base. Did not want to get caught off guard by something crazy. Top is, in fact, going with the in-base gateway. So he's going to be playing the style akin to what we saw Cowman doing in his games against Scarlet.
Now, I'm personally not the biggest fan of Polar Knight. I think it's really hard for a Protoss player to like hide anything. There's not really anything that you can hide, as there is so much dead space around the main base. There are a lot of sweet overlord spots for that can provide a lot of vision early on. We'll see gas timings and whatnot. So I'm very curious to see if Top wants to go for some sort of 2-base timing. Which one will he choose? Because at the end of the day, it's going to have a hard time selling it convincingly against Violet that Violet does not have to make units in a certain phase in the game.
Now, you know, I've been having a lot of fun on Polar Knight in my Zerg games, and I think it comes down to exactly what you just described. It is very easy to scout on this map. The main base is very small. There's tons of places to hide your overlords. It's very difficult to get caught by a timing that you weren't anticipating.
And multiple times you can even scout without really committing your overlord. Like on a lot of other maps, it's kind of like you send your overlord in and you pray for the best. And well, most likely you'll scout it, but still not before losing it. But here there are multiple occasions where you can just have your overlord lurking around, and then there is only one space where you really have to commit your overlord into it to actually see what's going on. So we will see.
Violet gets a great look at his opponent's main base, just floating through with his overlord. Sees everything that's going on, realizing that his opponent's gone 1 gate expand. Top already working on his wall in the natural. As we see nothing but drones coming from Violet. He did get the early extractor though, so
he's only mining with 2 drones though, which I think is interesting. That's not something you see very often.
A little bit of a marriage between what we saw from Scarlet and what we might see from, I don't know, the old school Stefano-esque player. Where Violet is going to be getting that early ling speed, but he's going to be taking his time gathering that first 100 gas.
A Roach Warren? What?
Okay.
This early?
Well, that kind of changes the dynamic here.
So maybe that's why he's only mining with 2 drones.
What are you doing with that, Violet? He's already taken a third base too, so it's not like he's doing a wild Roach all in.
Like if I was Zootop, Ben, I wouldn't really mind this all that much, because that means that if you just wipe in a bunch of stalkers on the other side of the map, you're gonna have a really good time microing your stalkers against these slow roaches. Like roaches off creep and even on creep without speed, you can definitely out micro.
Yep, I completely agree with you.
If Top gets a pylon up over here on the left side of the map, which is going to be tough though, because there is an overlord lurking around and he's gonna see it. And the sick thing is that Violet did make 4 links. So these 4 links will just be enough to shut down this pylon for now, and at least like give Top the impression that he's, hey, there's nothing weird going on over here. You definitely don't want to wipe in a bunch of stalkers, because they are going to be very weak against a lot of Zerglings.
Overlord's even being sacrificed through the main base, as there's just not a whole lot being seen yet here for
still though,
or by Violet.
I'm just not 10 drones on the production tab, so Violet's gonna have a sick economy. still, it's going to take a long time for him before he's going to get his layer, I guess, and he's going to get roach speed.
Yeah, but Top's just not out on the map. He's not doing anything about it. He's dropping his robo now, so it's going to be quite some time before he's able to take an aggressive posture. So Violet's going to be able to take advantage of all these extra
I really
drones.
think it was so painful for Top. See, now we see 4 zealots being, or a few zealots being wiped in as well. I think it's so painful that there were only 4 links produced throughout this entire game. But those 4 links give, of course, Top the impression that he has to worry about speed in a certain phase. That's why he's so careful right now. If he would have known that there is indeed no Zergling speed on the way, and that there were just the potential of a bunch of slow links or slow roaches, he would have committed much earlier to this aggression.
Great scouting from Violet has spotted this Protoss push materializing. He immediately starts 6 roaches, a couple of Zerglings, link speed on the way, as well as the lair. So
link speed is very late, but because of these zealots, which are going to be pretty useless against these roaches, and Violet had so much more time to actually get a reasonable economy up. Right now, he can just make a limited amount of roaches, and then he will stabilize for a little while.
Yep, pylon's going down, so Top does want to do something with these gateway units, but Violet's had so much time to prepare for it already. He's got 6 roaches out, he's got 7 lings out, working off just 48 drones, but
it's enough, at least for now.
Yeah, it should be. Violet's just going to sit on creep. He knows that going off creep could be dangerous.
I mean, this is still kind of useful in a certain way, because instead of like Top having to worry about a Zerg with like 58 to 60 drones, he now has to worry about the Zerg with 48 drones. He should definitely not commit to this. We see 3 additional gates going down. He wants to keep this pressure up as long as possible, because hey, if there is a window of opportunity to deal some sick damage, he of course wants to do that. 20 Zerglings being wiped in right now, morphed in. Speed was about to kick in. Top shouldn't use too many force fields. He's picking up a few roaches, but he's going to have to recall out right now.
Yep, ling reinforcements are going to mean it's time to get out of there. More force fields are going to go down, and yes, there is a recall used. And actually, didn't you lose any units there?
No, I didn't lose one of the important units. Only lost that sentry. That's a zealot, so not all bad. 14 drones now on the production tab for Violet. That's going to bring him up to 62. But wow, Violet, you might have thought you were more safe than you actually are, because now the real push comes. Before, this was just child's play. Now we're getting real with the Immortals.
Yeah, there's a Hydralisk den being built right now, and Violet's going to try to play the counterattack game.
That's a funny way to keep the DOS
I guess that works.
But that's actually really annoying. These pilots are very...
No, Time Warp and Force Fields are excellent. That catches a lot of roaches, and this is a little bit scary. Top mistakenly picks up an Immortal, but it's okay. He's going to shred these roaches. And Violet, oh man, I don't know if he can stop this now.
10 Hydralisks on the way, 11 Hydralisks, but of course these Hydralisks have no upgrade, no group spines, no speed either.
And no units to sort of buffer for them. There's no lings, there's no roaches. There's a few units being produced.
15 Hydralisks is a lot though.
It's gonna be...
It all comes down to time. Of course, like normally if you're Top right now, you're like, hey, that was pretty good, but I need some forceful energy. I need to take a little bit of time for myself, because if I do this right, then I'll be fine regardless. Which normally is true, but if you suddenly start facing 20 Hydras, then you wish you would have attacked before. He's gonna see the Hydras right now, so I think the only thing he's gonna do is get a few zealots. Violet is doing this really well so far, man.
Yep, so far so good. Time Warp is going to trap a few Hydras, and there's at least 2 Hydras that are going to go down.
It's even in army supply, and in those situations, force fields are often king.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And there's a lot of force field energy. There's those first force fields going down. They are pretty good when sectioning off a lot of the Zerg army. Immortals kept safe behind the line of sentries and zealots and stalkers. And more good force fields are going to go down. Violet might be in a little bit of trouble here. Every single Hydra's been killed. It's just lings and drones now coming off the line. More good force fields from Top. This is a very well executed Protoss 2-base Immortal push, and I don't think Violet is going to stop it.
Nope, I don't think so either, man. That one time warp in the middle of the map that zoned out those roaches and links, that's exactly what he needed. GG is called, and Top surprisingly takes game number 1 on a pretty tough Protoss map in general called Polar Night.
Opts for the Immortal all-in, and hey, why not? It's
You know what's interesting as well is that he did this all without a fort. He didn't have +1.
Yeah, that's crazy, off of the gateway opening.
Yeah, so like the gateway opening does allow him to be aggressive a little quicker, and allows him to slow the Zerg down a little bit. I think if he would have known what we knew, he could have wiped in a few Stalkers and actually force out roaches and kill roaches in that phase in the game. He didn't know that, but at the end of the day, it was all good enough.
Yeah, all very clean. Well done. Top goes up 1-0 against Violet. Guys, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with game number 2 after this.